The Functional Electrical Stimulation bike race was full of emotion. Certain riders had a hard time. With others, it went really well. And still others were completely exhausted after the race.
I'm still alive.
It was a race with all facets. Two teams had to bury their hopes for a top place early. Farid Oujoudi from the French team INS de Lyon is a newcomer and has a lot of trouble. After a bit more than 2 minutes and 200 meters, the race is over for him. His muscles do not follow the impulses and cramp up. Perhaps he had trained too much. Or was it nervousness? Even the Thai team Mahidol BCI lab with pilot Sakyuti Plungpongpon does not get far. In the end, only 72 meters are measured. Already 4 years ago, things were going badly for this team. At that time, the pilot failed the medical check. Now, the next disappointment for the Thai team. But the team does not lose its humor. Two other teams did not make it to the finish line but covered a considerable distance. Andrea Gatti from the Italian team Polymir Rehamov pedals very well for a long time, but in between he is slow. He manages 850 meters. A great performance, because Andrea has only been a paraplegic for 1.5 years. As a newcomer, he shows an impressive performance. Stahl Lopes from the Brazilian team EMA comes a little further. Maybe thanks to the beautiful scenery, the team is competing in a beach house. And Stahl has the right outfit to match. He manages 966 meters. A good performance. But the whole distance of 1200 meters is too far for him. By the way, the distance is much longer than 4 years ago, when the riders had to master the race on a real track. What has remained the same are the favorites. The top 3 will be competing for the best places this year as well. Among them is Mark Moon from the American team Cleveland, who won by a large margin back then. The 63-year-old is the only pilot to have implanted electrodes. And of course, he is also one of the favorites this year. As expected, he shows a strong performance and qualifies for the top 4. But is it enough to win again? One of his challengers is Johnny Beer from the British Imperial Berkel team, who is contesting the race in his living room. Johnny finished second in 2016 and is a very competitive racer. He also meets the expectations and makes the top 4. Difficult for him. 3 days ago, his system did not work yet. Has he found the right setup to compete for the victory? In 2016, the French pilot Julien Chouffroy from the Swiss team BFH CYBATHLON also made it to the podium. He finished 3rd at that time. And also this year, his pedal movements look good. Julien qualifies for the top 4, and of course, he is also one of the contenders for the victory. Who will take the last place in the top 4? The Dutchman Sander Koeman still has a chance. He is participating in the CYBATHLON for the first time, and these pedal movements look very good. Sander really reaches his limits, is totally exhausted at the end. For him, it is enough to reach the top 4. That's rewarded with a little snack. But was the performance good enough for a place at the top? Bad luck for Yong Hoon Kim from the Korean team B again. Like Sander, he is also a newcomer at the CYBATHLON. But he doesn't reach the top 4 despite a very good performance. The joy of the team is enormous. He manages the 1200 meters, but in the worst time. For him, there is place 5. Here's the ranking. The French and the Thai team had a lot of trouble and took place 8 and 9. A bit further on came the Italian and the Brazilian team. Bitter for the Korean team, they make it 1200 meters, but don't make it into the top 4. The top places are occupied in alphabetical order: Johnny Beer, Julian Geoffroy, Mark Moon and Sander Koeman. Who will take the victory? Is it one of the top 3 of the last CYBATHLON? Or is it newcomer Sander?